Last autumn, I set off on a journey which would change my life. Leaving leafy Cambridge, I travelled thousands of miles to a strange land, both colourful and welcoming. I would meet new friends, explore new spaces, and experience things which had never blessed my senses before. Join me as I journeyed to the Cascade Masquerade, a UK hippie festival in deepest Morocco. This is La Maroc Festival Podcast. So, today's quite an exciting day. I've been invited to the Cascade Masquerade, which is a festival. Now that's normal, I go to lots of festivals, but the exciting thing about this one is it's in Morocco. I first heard about this when I was at Equinox last year. I was talking to Seymour, the guy who is organising it, and I thought it was a bunch of hot air, but no. My flights were less than £100 both ways. Yeah, I'm going to Morocco. See you guys there. I'm already scared I've left something critically important behind. So, I've just arrived in beautiful Essaouira with the walled city and the gate and the bloody cannon on the ground over there. Yeah, things are good. Built in the 18th century by French architect Théodore Cuneau, Essaouira feels like something out of a storybook. And like everywhere in Morocco, seems to be a haven for semi-feral community cats. Hello, little guy. Oh, so pretty. So, I've finally got into my riad, the Riad de Latifa, and it's gorgeous. Oh, and there's a boat. There's a boat. This riad has a bloody roof terrace. It's a little bit terrifying without things on the edge. Waking up in Essaouira, the daytime light illuminated the old city's tumble-down beauty. I had all morning to explore before I had to get on the bus to Marrakesh. I just walked out of my riad and immediately found a musical instrument shop with some interesting guitar things that I should be able to identify because I'm technically a music journalist, but I can't. This was where I stayed last night, the Riad Al Latifa. It was amazing. Anyway, gonna walk on. So these lovely two gentlemen have brought me into their shop, and they've got a chameleon.
His name Anis.
Anis. Plan to share a tagine was quickly struck up, and before I knew it, I was following the lad to the market to buy ingredients. First, the tagine dish was cleaned out. Then meat, veg and spices were put in to stew. While we waited for the tagine to cook, the shopkeeper decided to dress me up in the local style of head wrap.
Mashallah. Mashallah, mashallah, mashallah. Easy!
So that was a delicious tagine. Kind of unexpected, getting invited into a shop, given some food. Oh, what a lovely, lovely experience. So I just met a nice English girl. Ooh, that was close. I just met a nice English girl who said navigating Marrakesh Marrakesh at night time is a bit of a nightmare. So I'm gonna go head out a bit early. The trip from Essaouira to Marrakesh was utterly fascinating. The landscape was arid scrubland, so unlike anything at home, with what felt like one big road cutting through it. Every so often, the bus would pull through a small town, their rustic marketplaces inevitably jutted up against the road. But before long, these would give way to the suburbs of Marrakesh. Home to more than 1 million people and a historic haven for bohemians, hippies and outsiders, the Red City felt electric compared to sleepy coastal Essaouira. It seemed a perfect place for me to meet up with the first of my festival friends. But before I could do that, I needed to find my hotel. So I just got in a rather dodgy looking tuk-tuk after getting off the bus in Marrakesh. Yeah, it's quite fun. While sketchy, riding in the back of the tuk-tuk was like nothing I would have ever experienced at home. It quickly got me to my hostel, before I then set out again into the city. My hostel in Marrakesh is down this winding avenue of tunnels. It's very long, so come out this way and go along this way and make sure I don't get lost. This bit of Marrakesh is very, very atmospheric. So, a little clarification. I'm not roaming Marrakesh at night for no reason. I'm going to meet a bunch of my friends. After quite a walk, including seeing what looked like a massive stage, what have I stumbled upon? I finally found my friends, including the storyteller John Rowe, who it turns out is quite a big deal in Marrakesh. We had dinner and then celebrated the lovely Alice's birthday before heading back to our hotels and getting a good night's sleep. Waking up the next morning, Marrakesh's beauty made itself fully apparent. But me and my gang had no intention of soaking it in just yet. Instead, we headed for a soak of a different kind, at the water park. It was great, but my phone isn't waterproof, so there's no footage. That was £30 well spent. Leaving the water park and heading back into the city, before long, I ended up doing the thing I least expected to do that night. My job. The Juman Al Fanar, Marrakesh's main square, was, against the odds, hosting a festival that very evening. What were the chances, friends? Your intrepid reporter goes to Africa chasing a festival, and inadvertently finds himself another bloody festival. Me and Luke, a rapper who'd been performing at the Masquerade, set off into the crowd to see what was going on. The concert was a massive free spectacular, 100 years in the making, celebrating the century anniversary of Les Jardins du Majoret, a famous Marrakeshi landmark. It began with a DJ playing music which sounded both exotic and strangely familiar, before the band setting up on stage burst into their cinematic, showy set of what I assume was Moroccan pop. After they finished, a traditional act in tunics and red fezzes came onto the stage, all trance-inducing drums and spiritual chanting. These guys were followed up by a second band, mixing up this trance-inducing sound with more modern instrumentation and perfectly framing their band leader's vocals. I would later learn the artists were DJ Kawatar Sadiq, pop singer Novamane Balichi, traditional group Dakar Marrakechia, and Ikram El Abidi with her fusion band. I didn't pick up on any of this at the time though. I swear I heard one of the acts was called George Slater. When I awoke the next day, Marrakesh was again warmed by the welcoming morning sunlight I would come to expect from the city. Setting out across the square, I was surprised at how comparatively peaceful it was, a stark contrast to the previous night. I met up with my friends Luke and Lisa to explore more of the city, and quickly, before my eyes, this comparative peace turned into a sensory riot. Everywhere I looked, someone was trying to sell me something, and mopeds were whizzing past. I must admit, Marrakesh is a little intense. Relief was found at the Ben Youssef Madrasa. A maze of chambers and corridors built around a tranquil central water feature, the madrasa was set up in the 15th century as a sort of university, where prospective clerics and judges would quietly read and contemplate Islam. While the evening buzzed away, as is the wont of Marrakesh, my gang and I got an early night. The next day, we were headed out to the Cascade Masquerade, and we felt it important to be well rested for our trip. The next morning, our gang of East Anglian hippies piled into a minibus and headed out across the plain. Climbing up the mountain path to Azoud, the landscape became rougher, the towns more rustic. None of us really knew what the organiser, Seymour, had planned for us. But as we journeyed away from urban civilization, our anticipation kept growing. Arriving into Azoud, it became clear that it was a calm, civilized place. Perhaps a little touristy, I worried, as I sat in the pizzeria that was serving as our meeting point. Soon, Seymour's son, Kelton, joined us to guide us into the festival, and the true majesty of where we were revealed itself to me. Set astride and inside a massive canyon, Azoud and its famous waterfalls is known as one of the most beautiful sights in Morocco. Long significant to the local Amazigh or Berber people, the falls were discovered by European backpackers in the 1960s and 70s. This led to a wave of guest houses and cafes starting up in the valley, businesses which had since fallen on hard times. Seymour, the Cascade Masquerade's organiser, hoped to change this. As we continued to walk downwards, we met some other festival people. Nish and Killiam, from the Gulls, had just had their fruit stolen by a monkey. After they bravely retrieved their produce and we made it down to the bottom, we ran into the man himself. Seymour was just discussing a chat he had had with one of his local friends.
I was like, I'm crazy, aren't I? And he was like, yes, you fucking are crazy. And then I went, but what does that make you? And then he went, like all sad, like, he went, oh no, I'm crazy. Like this is like, I'm like actually following the crazy man, you know? He's like, yeah, so that makes me even more crazy.
Exploring the site, I had a brief flight of worry that Seymour's friend was right, and he was crazy. While beautiful, everything was incredibly rustic, with some parts of the site seeming a health and safety nightmare. Still, it was better than I feared. At least there was something of a festival coming together. Hell, there was even a ska band sound checking. It was about this time that I met Hamza with his wife Sakrina. Natives of Tangiers, it didn't take long for them to show us they knew how to party.
I have some good white wine.
Having had a nice dance with the lovely couple, I sat down for dinner with the band who were sound checking earlier. They then hopped up to the stage and started playing.
Happy day, we're Scarface, we'll do a bit of ska, bit of punk, and let's go! 1, 2!
Now, if I were to choose a form of music to represent the British festival scene to foreigners, it would be ska. Omnipresent, lively, loud, and always a fantastic boogie, Scarface were serving as ambassadors for a whole scene, wielding their genre like a torch. As the first song rang out and the dance floor remained resolutely English, I began to worry. Would the Moroccans get it? Did they not like ska? Was this all just neo-colonialist hedonism? But then, suddenly, a dark-skinned face joined us on the dance floor. Then another, and another, and another, until the whole crowd was dancing. It was beautiful. All my fears of neo-colonialism and cultural imposition fell away. Yes, the Moroccans do like ska. After Scarface came Snippet and the Hot Rocks, the most festivally band to have ever festivaled. Combining punk, ska and rock and roll with the frontman Dale's irrepressible pirate traveller attitude, I imagine some of the cultural nuances of "yeah, I got a TV" might have been lost on the less fluent in English culture in the audience. Still, with Snippet's driving energy, plus a little help from the Gulls filling some holes in the band, some of their songs more than got through to everyone in the audience.
We're gonna finish the song for us now, come on! Thank you everyone, we've been snipping the whole rocks. We've been fucking amazing.
While the official running order had come to an end, the Masquerade's amazing energy ensured people had still something to give. Many, including host Seymour, danced the evening away in a drum circle, while others enjoyed the Gulls manager, Nish, recite a horrifying story of pasty love.
I watched him with my mouth gaping open, grazing the floor. He had stopped to bite his greasy pasty. Seemingly his desire for a bite was so strong and primal that the world around him faded, and well, now so had mine. He devoured, slurped, licked and savoured what appeared to be a steak bake. He appeared to be in ecstasy, sickeningly yet arousingly fornicating with his buttery flakes and gristles of what is marketed as meat.
It was tired and happy that we went to bed. Waking up at the Cascade Masquerade was an incredibly tranquil sensation. Surrounded by friends, joy and beauty, I felt incredibly content. The day was started with the traditional Moroccan breakfast, perfect for the day the Moroccans would take to the stage. At this point, I bumped into Seymour and asked what the next act, Hippie, was.
Yeah, so basically, like, Berber and Tuareg are kind of like one peoples, but they're kind of overtwined. So Berber is more kind of the people of the mountains, and the Tuareg is kind of more the people of the desert. So hiatus is more traditionally set towards the Tuareg part of the Berber culture. They tend to be 8-person groups that have sort of equal number of male and female usually. So like when they have the castanet things, the clacker-clacks, they come from when the African peoples were being pulled through Africa, and then Morocco kind of came the main trade route, like out with the slave trade. But that comes from them taking off the shackles and beating them into an instrument. I don't know if you've noticed their older guy who's like their older, kind of, I don't know what he is. I feel so like blessed to like have his blessing, because he's got such an aura of like kind of old desert wise guy, to have him keep coming up to me, like giving me little thumbs up and the way everyone was having such a unified good time last night. So I think that's what he was praising, and that's what he was like, you've got my kind of seal of approval, because I can see that what you're trying to do here. You're not trying to like come in and be like, boy, where's me bangers and mash? You're actually bringing it together sort of thing.
The Hippie began as Seymour said, a serious call and response between two groups of 4, before quickly being caught up in the fun and frolics of the masquerade. Before I knew it, people were leaping about and joining in. It felt a bit heretical, but the old desert man didn't seem to mind, so it was alright with me. Next was legendary storyteller John Rowe. While not an actual Moroccan, his involvement with the World Storytelling Cafe in the Red City certainly makes him an honorary Marrakeshi.
Oh, you want to be in this one, darling?
That one. That one's good. This is good.
Oh, don't touch it.
Reds, you've saved my life again.
Give us your peanut come here. The master general is going to tell us.
I'm not doing a story, I'm going to do a few poems, and then we will tell a story together.
Yeah, of course.
And then maybe Zuhair will join us.
Of course.
If we're lucky.
Inshallah.
But before that, if I can have a little rhythm somewhere. And this is Marrakesh after lockdown. as the years progress, it seems I get caught by surprise less and less, but in the souk, which only 3 months before had been emerging from a coma, gasping for air, flexing itself in an effort to push blood back into its extremities, I felt light as a feather. As I drank in the atmosphere, welcome. Please look in my shop. No need to buy. This way to the big square. Shukran Allah 1,000 times, but I still allowed myself to be taken by surprise. Have a long cobalt blue scarf wrapped around my head, desert fashion, before paying 3 times its value for it, but it is beautiful. And this magic city has a tendency to suck you in, and the welcome is worth 3 times as much as anything I could carry in my pockets.
After John had entranced us with his words, we opened the stage up to whoever wanted to perform. First came my mate Reds.
I rise up so free, I hear the falls breathe, Jaja calling to me.
And then Russell shocked us all.
Wish I wouldn't lie to you. I get frightened if I don't. Wish I wouldn't lie to you. I'll come if I don't. I don't get it. I won't let it. Beat myself up every time. All I do is push the dagger through. Twist the knife when I should be loving you. Hope the gods forgive all the things that I do. I do. Sometimes the crime won't fit the sea.
Before long though, it was time for what I was really in Morocco for. Desert blues. Born in the 1960s and 70s, when Tuareg refugees in exile picked up guitars for the first time, desert blues, known as a soof or nostalgia to the Tuareg people, might quite possibly be the most evocative and beautiful music on the planet. We would be blessed by the presence of 2 desert blues bands at the Cascade Masquerade. Tawa and Teneri, shown soundchecking here, and later, the Nomad Band. Now, Tawa and Teneri are kind of a big deal. Hailing from Ouarzazate, Morocco's gateway to the desert, the band are flag bearers for the Amazigh people's burgeoning desert blues scene. Younger and more underground than the Tuareg desert blues scene it descended from, Morocco's homegrown Amazigh equivalent features slightly more Islamic and Andalusian influences, as well as livelier, more present percussion. With their name meaning sons of the desert, the band's sound is evocative of caravans and sand dunes, a Saharan procession with telecasters rather than camels. Dense and enchanting, repetitive and mesmerising, and oh so beautiful. The band's music, to my ears, sounds like a firm, confident insistence that the world is wonderful and everything is going to be okay. While following that demonstration of utter, irrepressible talent would put shivers down most spines, the scrappy, up-and-coming Nomad Band took it as an excuse to bring out the big guns. Pulling in a couple of Western musicians to thicken the sound, what started as a musical amble quickly accelerated until we were facing down a storm of guitar and drum beats. As the night rolled on, even more musicians joined the stage. This permeability of the barrier between audience and artist, performer and participant, was one of my favourite things about the masquerade. It is a feature only the very best of small festivals can claim they wear in their cap. By the final day of music, the gang had fully relaxed into life at Azoud. Hello, Mimi. You're a good cat. Yes, you are. People were out exploring the valley's mysterious cave systems and awe-inspiring cascades. Or just taking a dip upstream. Hello. Others took the calm of the morning as an excuse to gather and play music. This included my mate Skip, who had helped put on the festival. Practically every musician on site performing as part of a supergroup. And of course, the late arrival, Slamboree's Mike Freer. Hell, everyone was turning up. Even Snoop Monk, the festival's mascot, who had been at the centre of a canyon-wide scavenger hunt. Now, my mate Luke played a huge part in running this hunt, and performed a cracking set at the masquerade. But I don't have any footage, so here's him jumping around in a monkey mask. I felt a bit bad about this, so I made sure to film the next set. The Gulls, after 2 days playing backup dances to other bands, finally had a chance to let loose the juice.
Inside that fucking stone, I could hear him laughing. A little woozy, but I'm feeling alright. My head is drowsy and the sky is bright. Couldn't tell that the turn's too tight.
Playing funky, bluesy rock with joy and enthusiasm, the only thing which matches how fun the Gulls are as a band is how fun they are as people. Closing out the festival and shouting me out when it rolled past midnight into my birthday, Mike Freer delivered on the decks. There's a reason this man is one of the most sought after DJs in festival land. Billed as an adventure festival, my trip over to the Cascade Masquerade absolutely delivered on that. From the many adventures on my journey out, to the absolute privilege of attending the festival itself, I had so much fun experiencing new things, new people, and new places. With the energy of a warm hug on the dance floor, a wonderful community spirit matching the best this festival scene can offer, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone involved. Especially to you, Seymour. You took your crazy idea and made it reality. Only the best of us can manage that. Anyway, to all of you who have got this far, the guest list for 2025 is still open. See you in Azoud.
A couple of bags down, and as I came back around past him, I was like, "I'm crazy, aren't I?" And he was like, "Yes, you fucking are crazy." And then I went, "But what does that make you?" And then he went, like all sad, like he went, "Oh no, I'm crazy." Like this is like I'm like actually following the crazy man, you know. He's like, yeah, so that makes me even more crazy. You know? Yeah, funny.